Right, everything should be running now. How are we doing? Are we doing fine today? Today is a it's a big day, right? Today with the actual seed round and yeah, in addition for our community, the private round starting. I guess a lot to look forward to. A lot to look forward to today. Excuse me if I'm a little bit slower today, but I'm a little bit like hungover from yesterday, but it is all right. So let me see, everything is running perfect. So we are in it for our little fund AMA today. So basically the biggest thing happening today, especially for our fund, right, is the actual start of the seed round and the private sale. Yeah, I guess kind of the private sale starting up for Beast. And with this, then the whole development process starting up. So, a rather big part happening. In addition, I will later today, just let me. The poll is so far up already. Here. There it is. So I just tagged it in the chat. So the last poll we had was regarding Meta-Ruffy. And we will, or better, I will buy into Meta-Ruffy later. And then it should be right away appearing on our dashboard as well. And this is rather exciting, I can tell you. Very exciting. So we are moving on. The next poll will also come up, just a little bit stuffed with everything. Give me a second, Jay. I know I've spoken to Carrie, but there isn't a way I can set up a buy to purchase my 1 BNB worth. Why? Sadly, no. Mainly, Carrie, Chris, and Martin are handling everything for seed round private sale, but sadly, just to keep it fair, right? We did try to choose a time which is like reasonable for every time zone, but then again, of course, for some time zones, it's always in a we cannot make it right for everyone, right? But sadly, no, there's no way to like reserve or make a payment before or stuff like this. Sadly, not able to do this. Are you buying land or tokens? For both? We are doing both. So basically with the investment you can think of like roughly a 50-50 share. So of course we will buy tokens. We will also use the staking there. Doesn't matter now of the APY because I already saw they will lower the APY or stuff like this, but this isn't really bad, right? But then in the end it is also sitting in a rather good dip at the moment. So the entry price right now, all over crypto, is rather good, right? And we need to take a little bit of advantage for it. Of course, it takes a little bit longer since we need to take polls, and then the polls need to stay open at least a few hours, so everyone has the chance to actually vote. But definitely moving forward. Great news for Meta-Ruffy. Yeah. It's always like, the whale fund is not dropping like 20k at once or stuff like this. Yeah, of course. But then again, I think every single holder, especially long-term orientated holders, are very, very valuable for any project out there, right? And in addition, we are dollar cost averaging. So it is very good for Meta-Ruffy, I suppose. I don't think they would tell us, no, please don't do this. No, but it's all right. Community decided to go for it, so we are able to set it up. So I have some news regarding Matic Algorand. So the thing is, we need to subscribe to a API there. In Works to do it, to actually show our investments and to live track them. This is always the hard part, live tracking them. We need a subscription for that, but I'm already working towards it with the dev team. We did try to make it on another way, but this is not really suitable, honestly. But we will have this minor issues fixed very, very soon, right? Next poll also upcoming, most likely tomorrow. I will set everything up. Just for today, I want to concentrate a little bit so that the private and the seed round are going smoothly, right? Because this is a little bit of work to do with the allocations and stuff, and then of course we can start up the whole, or light up the whole process behind everything. Or let's say better, the guys can light it up then. And it will be very exciting, I can tell you. There's another company involved doing a lot of branding and stuff. I don't want to give out any details, but this is a let's say very, very talented company, and maybe we are able to drop out some more news, right? We are on the work, on some background work, especially regarding the whale fund thing, in addition, in which we appear as strategic advisors and receive a whale fund holding, but we will see how things work out, right? We need to, or let's say we cannot announce anything which is not done, right? This is rather important. So, but for the whale fund, as we all know, the market took a rather, I would say a rather big hit. Luna is basically on the edge of just minting its supply in such high numbers that the price is getting very, very small over time. So for the people which are not aware of what was happening, basically Terra Luna is the, let's say, the coin, and they had a stable coin, UST, and the stable coin is pegged to the price of the US dollar. This is the main reason for a stable coin. So basically, you would have one UST which is always worth $1, same as for example for BUSD. But this was is a algorithmic stable coin. So basically it tries to balance everything through a algorithm. And they had in addition the Anchor protocol, in which you did receive, I think it was 20% for staking a stable coin, which is huge, right? This is a huge number. Some people were already aware of the fact that this is a system, this algorithm is something which can be exploited pretty badly. Now there are some rumors, BlackRock and Citadel, had their hands in this current or recent crash of UST and then following Luna as well. Because how this works is if UST loses its peg, then Luna starts minting tokens and starts to sell them on the market for Terra Luna to stabilize the price of, or let's say to receive the peg again of $1 per token. This was the main concept behind the algorithm. Now the bad thing that happened is a lot of people, or I will just say people, a lot of people, maybe also institutions, dumped rather big amounts of UST, especially with the Anchor protocol and stuff like this. This were some insane rewards the people had there. And if a lot of people sell off the UST will slowly lose its peg, and it reached a critical stage, I think, when UST was reaching around 94, 93 cent per UST token. This was kind of a critical stage, because then again people need to understand what stablecoins are used for, especially in such markets, right? People go into stablecoins because they say, I do not want the volatility in the market. I want a stable price. I'm scared of the market at the moment. That's why I'm going into stable coins. For example, UST. So if UST loses its peg and therefore loses its value, a lot of people get scared and dump their UST additionally, right? This gives the whole algorithm a very, very hard time to react actually. So let me see if I can should be able, this is like better to actually look at. Yeah, this looks bad. All right. So if you take a look here, whoopsala. Terra, please have the right chart. Let's make it a little bit smaller so we can see it more. All right, this is a good one. We can see it rather good here. So this is the chart for Terra USD, which was basically the stablecoin for Terra, right? And as we can see, they ran into the issue that they did lose the peg. Not by huge amounts, but it was like 93, 94 cents, 92 cents per Terra USD token. And this is bad for a stable coin if they are not able to stabilize the price again, right? Especially in markets in which a lot of things are crashing altogether. People do not want a volatile stable coin. In this whole process, basically Terra Luna was minting Luna tokens, was dumping them on the market. This was the basic concept of the algorithm to stabilize this price again. In addition, they did sell off Bitcoin holdings, which Terra accumulated over time, which were there to actually secure the peg, right? And didn't work out, didn't quite work out, as we can see. A lot of people got scared and started to dump the price again of Terra USD. In the end, it's just a token, right? You cannot have it magically held up at the $1 ratio. For a lot of people put a lot of sell pressure on Terra USD and they are not able to stabilize the peg again. And yeah, then you will see this type of stuff happening. So they did reach a bottom of 65 roughly, and then as we can see, peg started to recover again, but it was never really able to exceed this 88-cent mark. And this is when the things got really bad, right? This is when the things got really bad. You need to think that in this whole process of receiving the peg back, Terra did dump a lot of Bitcoin, like a lot. It was not just one Bitcoin. And in this whole process of receiving the peg back, Luna did mint a big amount of tokens and did throw them on the market, and therefore, of course, also increasing the circulating supply of Luna, which is in itself bad for the price, right? If you have something which is highly, highly deflationary. And then, yeah, basically with all of this happening, with this crash of the Terra USD price and them not being able, as we can see, there were some rather good attempts here to get the peg back and everything, but they were not able to actually receive the peg back. Now with Terra USD sitting at a price actually of 21 cents per USD, this is a bad price, right? And this is what did basically lead to the crash of Terra itself. Let me a second. I'm doing this kind of stuff now on purpose, or showing you this kind of stuff on purpose. Yeah. As we can see in this whole process, so basically like when around the 8th or the 8th it started. Now let me see. Here it started with Terra USD sitting at a price of 94 cents, right? Not really able to receive their pack back. This was the main issue here. And then, as you can see here, this is the time in which they started to mint, or not they, but basically the algorithm is starting to mint a lot of Terra Luna tokens, increasing the supply. A lot of people have been aware of this fact, have been selling their Terra Luna in addition. But then again, in this whole process, if we, let me do it this way, if we compare these two charts here, right, we can see with all this downwards movement of Terra USD and them trying to receive the pack back, we see the price of Terra Luna drastically decreasing, right? Like really drastically, to a point in which we are sitting now at a price of 0.0004. If we think we came from a price a few days ago 69. This is euros, right? Keep this in mind, this is euros, not dollars. 69, rather bad, right? Like really bad. Now, because I want to go into this because some people ask me, is this the right time to buy Luna again, right? Like Terra Luna, because you can basically acquire this huge amount of tokens for very cheap money. And if they recover back for on a price, for example, of $10 per token, then you would have a huge increase, right? But it doesn't work this way. It does sadly not work this way. The main problem is lying in here with Terra Luna at the moment. This is the circulating supply, right? This is like the main issue. The contract is minting Luna endlessly, right? The supply will increase. It is already sitting in the trillions. It will go even higher in the future. And this is the main problem. With this Terra Luna token, unless there will be like huge burns of the token, so basically the algorithm also works the other way around. If the pack is over $1, Terra Luna gets burned. This is the concept of the token, the algorithm basically behind it. Unless we see huge burns happening, we'll have very little chances of actually getting back on track. And then in addition, of course, this was not the first algorithmic stablecoin. There were plenty before Terra Luna. All of them failed, simply because of this part. Part one is they are most likely very vulnerable for attacks. At least if the attacker has big amounts of money to drag out liquidity and everything, then it is a very vulnerable concept here. And I think already last year, someone or a lot of people tried to make people aware of the fact that this algorithm has a big weakness in it. And this is basically the weakness, right? If you have enough money, or if you would have enough money, you could manipulate this price here. You could cause this dip in Terra USD, and therefore beginning or this whole disaster. Basically it is a circle right now, because Terra USD is far away from its pack of $1. Therefore Terra Luna is just happily minting tokens and will keep on minting tokens, and this is basically the main problem. Also why we will definitely not see a recovery of Terra Luna in the very near future, right? Doesn't matter if a lot of people buy in, Terra USD will just, or the price of Terra USD will force Luna to mint tokens and sell them to get the pack back. And this is the main issue we are facing at the moment. So just a little bit of insight of what happened there with Terra Luna and Terra USD. This was they had a huge ecosystem. Yeah, it was not a small project. People lost a lot of money a lot of money, especially since it went very well since the start. So of course, in the portfolios of people, Terra was holding a rather big spot of the portfolio, especially with the gains it made. And so now some people lost like what, 90% of their portfolio, 95% of their portfolio. Very bad, very bad what happened here, right? I don't know the exact issue causing Terra USD to lose its peg. I don't want to speculate anything or stuff like this. There are rumors out there of BlackRock and Citadel and stuff like this, but yeah, I don't know if that's true, right? I think no one is really able to tell if this is done via market manipulation. Sadly, sadly, right? A rather big hit the market took here, honestly. But yeah, I was just going over this stuff to make you guys aware. Yes, Terra is a or is a very good project and stuff like this, right? Nothing to say against this one, but be very very cautious uh, if you want to buy Terra Luna now. Keep in mind there are other or additional reasons of Terra dumping in the price, not only people selling, right? Not only people selling, this is very important to understand. Very important. Because you could now buy tokens for $2, and if you do the math, you would be a millionaire if it receives or reaches the price of $100 back again. Do you know how Terra became so famous? If it has such weaknesses, the contract cannot have been programmed very professionally. Um, it's not about the contract itself. It's basically about the algorithm of how this whole concept works, right? Because if you take, for example, USDT, right, another very 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 big stable coin out there, they claim, right? I don't say that I confirm anything here, but they claim for every USDT token minted, they are holding one real US dollar, and therefore they can hold the peg of the token towards the dollar mark. Terra had a different approach. They had other investments backing up the peg of Terra, which is, for example, also Bitcoin, right? So they had huge amounts of Bitcoin holding this. Now the problem with the whole algorithm in itself was basically if someone with a lot of liquidity is dumping on Terra USD and therefore making the price unstable, Terra Luna in return will see automatic dumps, right? This was the main problem. They didn't face this problem yet because no one with a very high liquidity holding was basically dumping on them. But now at this size, let's say a few individuals out there, maybe they lost faith or maybe it was really market manipulation, right? They took advantage of this algorithm. The reason why this whole ecosystem got very, very famous and a lot of people wanted it was because of the Anchor protocol, right? So in addition of Terra USD and Terra Luna, they had the Anchor protocol in place. And this Anchor protocol, I think it was like 20% for staking Terra USD. So if you stake Terra USD, you would receive 20% APY, which is huge for a stablecoin. So a lot of people, of course, use the Anchor protocol to increase their holdings. And therefore, of course, the whole ecosystem in itself did grow. And of course, it was in addition hype because of a stablecoin ecosystem which is maintaining itself through a algorithm, right? So let's say that the idea is great, right? It would be very, very big for crypto in itself. If someone is able to pull this off in a very safe way, then again, you're still sitting in crypto. We have zero regulations in the market. If a big player decides to play with the market, there's like no one stopping him in addition, right? This is one of the main problems of crypto, maybe also one of the main advantages of crypto, right? Having zero regulations. But stuff like this happening in Terra just shows like algorithmic stable coins. There were plenty before already with companies trying to achieve a stable coin which is managed through a algorithm. All of them failed before. And I think this in addition, yeah, gonna give the algorithmic stable coins, which are in itself, if they work, as we can see, they would be a very, very valuable thing for crypto. But I think a lot of people lost trust again in algorithmic stable coins, especially with what happened now. Terra USD, Luna Terra, or Terra Luna, sorry. Yeah, as I said before, it's a great project. Honestly, it's a great project. But yeah, what I mean is, how did they become so famous? Just very professional marketing. The algorithm was seemingly not working out so professionally. It was a lot coming on top of it, right? A lot coming on top, especially with the Anchor protocol. With this was basically the DeFi project of this whole Terra ecosystem. They gained a lot of attention there. Do Kwon, yeah, the guy, the guy himself, he was known to have a very a very big attitude there. Yeah, it's not funny at all, but if you see some responses of him to people pointing out the vulnerabilities of the algorithm, yeah, he was, I think he was very aware of the weakness, but um, maybe he was believing too much in not being manipulated in any form, or UST not losing its peg in such a tremendous way. No, no, not only arrogance, I can tell you. It was a lot coming together. It was a lot of hype coming in, especially for the Anchor protocol, because you need to understand this amount of yield for a stable token. This is huge, right? It is huge because normally in a stable token you would not have any volatility, right? So receiving 20%, for example, is huge. It is just huge. You are just building your bag in a in a huge way. And that helped a lot. In addition, the algorithm also helped Luna, like Terra Luna in itself, because in the times before all this happened, a lot of Luna supply was getting burned. And I say a lot of the supply got burned. This helped the price, right? This helped the hype. People were very hyped about this project, and also the ecosystem behind it. It was not only like Terra Luna, Terra, the stablecoin or Anchor protocol. Give me a second. Here. So as we let's do it this way. So as we can see here, it was not only like the Anchor protocol, right? This was a lot of things which have been built on top for the Terra ecosystem. This is huge. Basically, all of this was on the verge of collapsing, right? Yeah, it was a lot coming together. A good idea, with an algorithmic stablecoin, a seemingly well-made algorithm. The idea behind it, by trying to hold the peg in, for example, Bitcoin holdings in itself, right? This is huge for crypto. Terra was basically a huge Bitcoin holder. It was very good for crypto in itself. But then again, the other side of the medal is, of course, if things reach a critical stage, as they did right now, with UST losing its peg, Terra is forced to sell Bitcoin. Terra is forced to mint Terra Luna and to sell them on the market. This is the other side of the medal, right? But hard to say why they really got that big. Or not hard to say. It's very obvious. It was marketing on point. Do Kwon himself, like he is a kind of let's say famous person in this whole ecosystem, of course, in itself. The Anchor protocol, especially the Anchor protocol on top of it, which gave you a huge return for staking stablecoins. And yeah, all of this on top, the burning mechanism of the algorithm, and then of course the way of actually holding the peg of UST, especially in Bitcoin holdings and stuff like this, right? This created a lot of buzz and hype for Terra. Sadly, like honestly, sadly, I'm aware a lot of people lost money there in the past few days. Things sadly went down the drain. And I can tell you already, in some other groups I'm in, investor groups or stuff like this, people are, they do not want to ever invest into a algorithmic stablecoin again. This was not the first one to come up with a algorithm and then fail, but I think this thing happening for Terra got this whole, especially the algorithmic stablecoin scene, a rather big hit. Sadly, right? Because the idea is very nice. I can tell you, it's a very nice idea. We ourselves did watch it as an addition for the whale fund because it was so well thought through, right? The only real thing holding us back was step one. We would have needed to invest like bigger amounts of money in there over time, and then of course the algorithm in itself, especially with the big boy players joining the market as big investment companies or stuff like this. We are from with a financial background, and we are very aware of the fact that they won't leave any opportunity out to make money, right? If they are able to manipulate the market, they are doing it in stocks anyways, even if there are regulations, but if they are able to manipulate the market to maximize their profit, they will do so. And this is like the main problem with a algorithm attached to a stable coin when big players join the market. Somewhere in the future, I think this was kind of inevitable, honestly. But yeah, then again, it could have worked out very well, and people made a lot of money there. But a lot of people also pulled out once this little peak reached here, right? You can see it here, this 93 cents. This is, keep in mind, this is in euro now. When this little dip appeared here, a lot of people pulled out in addition. In the end, it was the right decision of them, but then again, there was also this pull out starting all of this, sadly. But they did a lot right. let's see what comes from them in the future, right? Let's see. I'm very looking forward. But then again, for Terra Luna itself, be very, very careful if you are trading or looking to buy into Terra Luna at the moment. Take a look at this one. Yeah, it's like like the numbers are looking crazy, right? Numbers are looking crazy, but I would be very, very careful with Terra Luna at the moment. Because then again, the algorithm of UST is forcing Terra Luna to mint. So in the end, as long as the pack is not restored, there is like literally only one way to go for Terra Luna. All right, we got a little bit of Terra talk. kind of a nice name, right? Kind of little bit of Terra talk in here. Let's get back to more yeah, let's say good news, right? Kind of good news. So as I said before, we will start off our MetaRafi Invest now. Or not now, not exactly at this moment, don't pin me on this one, but today. And in addition, Beast Protocols seed round will start. Just a quick disclaimer for the people. If you send, or if you want to send more than one BNB, it will get automatically allocated into the private sale as well. Because for the seed round, the cap is actually 1 BNB. Now, let me see. Whenever we can announce it, we are already in talks for this roof fund idea and the strategic partnership placement. We are already in talks with another. I would say it's a very, very big project, especially in comparison to the buzz it had around it and everything. We're kind of negotiating at the moment, like kind of negotiating. But we like the team, the initial team behind it, and we will see. Whenever we are ready to announce something regarding this, we will do so. And yeah, otherwise I would say keep it up in this market, right? Keep the flag up. Don't be super scared. Honestly, it might happen that the market dips a little bit more. But then again, the way up right now with BNB sitting at what is it sitting? 284.50, right? So we started back in December. I think BNB was sitting at around $550 dollars per BNB. So as you can see, with that, did it fight BNB since the launch in itself. So I hope that we find a floor now anytime soon and are able to capitalize on the actually pull up of BNB rising again, right? This would be very nice, or is very nice in the future. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the next poll, most likely starting tomorrow. And otherwise, I would say, if there are no more questions regarding the stuff we did speak about today, like today was a little bit about the recent things that happened in the market, just a quick overview and a disclaimer. Be very careful if you buy into Terra Luna now. And a quick look out for the fund, right? But if there are no more questions, then I would end the AMA for today. Get something or grab something to eat really quick, and then finalize some minor things for the seed round, the upcoming seed round for Beast. And I would wish all of you a very, very nice rest of the day or start into the day, yeah, whatever time zone you're sitting in. And we will hear each other again, right? All right, people. Thank you all, and bye-bye.